It's hard to believe that a mother and her own biological daughter could become the shared wives of the same man, in a society where prostitution is legalized, and underage girls are still married off in the name of so-called ancestral customs, right in the heart of the bustling capital where traffic lights sometimes serve merely as decoration. Half-day traffic jams have become an all-too-familiar scene, and it's truly strange that some families here, through 4 generations, have never had a single member with fingerprints, in an age where biometrics seem indispensable. What you've just heard is only the beginning. Many more shocking and unexpected truths await you at the end of the video. But for now, let's step into the astonishing world of Bangladesh Top 12 Discoveries. Child marriage and the legalization of prostitution in Bangladesh. A sorrowful picture continues to repeat every day. 1 in every 3 girls gets married before the age of 15, and more than 2/3 are married before turning 18. These early marriages are like cages that lock away their childhood dreams and future. But what surprises many people comes from a tribe called the Mandi, living near the Mymensingh area with around 25,000 people. They maintain a strange custom. When a widow wants to remarry, she must choose her new husband from within the tribe, usually a young, unmarried man. And even more unexpectedly, the widow's daughter sometimes also has to become the wife of that man. The story continues until those little girls grow up enough to understand what is happening. In this country, being a woman means living with many limited choices. With few career opportunities, they are forced to rely on their husbands. The burden of dowry makes their lives even heavier. But in contrast to this gloomy picture, Bangladesh is also a place where some of the most powerful female politicians in Asia have emerged. Khaleda Zia made history by becoming the country's first female prime minister from 1991 to 1996. And the longest-serving leader in Bangladesh's history is also a woman, Sheikh Hasina. These are women who persistently walk through a political arena long considered a male domain. Bangladesh is also unique in another way. It is one of the few Asian countries that legalized prostitution, starting in the year 2000. About 100,000 women and girls are working in this industry, but only 10% of them do so voluntarily. The rest are mostly forced, deceived, or sold by strangers, and even by their own husbands or family members. Worse still, the conviction rate for traffickers is only 0.005%, a cold number that clearly reflects the deep loopholes in the justice system here. The lives of those girls are bound to fall into despair when no one stands up for them. Is there still a faint light of hope for them in that thick darkness? What do you think about a custom where a mother and daughter might share the same husband? How do you think this affects their lives and their relationship? Share your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. Traffic in Bangladesh. Have you ever imagined people sitting on the roof of a bus, clinging to the sides of a train like in an action movie? In Bangladesh, that's not unusual. It's part of everyday life. Dhaka, the capital of this country with over 170 million people, is struggling under a traffic crisis. With nearly 17 million residents but only about 4,000 buses, that means each bus has to serve over 4,200 people. And most of these are veteran vehicles, over 20 years old, seats with torn cushions, broken air conditioners, shattered windows, and black smoke billowing from exhaust pipes, all paint a gloomy picture. But buses are just the visible part. Trains are where survival limits are truly tested. With an average speed of only about 27 to 28 miles per hour, they are still a vital means of transport. Those with tickets squeeze inside. Those without climb onto the roof, cling to the edges as if holding on for dear life. And tragedy is almost inevitable. There was an incident where 30 people were injured after being struck by a tree while sitting on a train roof. Another accident in June 2016 in Chittagong district resulted in 2 deaths from electrocution and 2 others seriously injured. And on the ground, Dhaka is nicknamed the rickshaw capital of the world, with around 400,000 rickshaws operating daily. On top of that are countless tuk-tuks and over 500,000 unlicensed vehicles. Traffic lights, they might as well be decorations. They stand there while the traffic flows in chaotic waves. The result, a trip in Dhaka can take 2 to 3 times longer than usual, even if you're only going a few kilometers. Around 8 in the morning, people begin their breakfast with panta, fermented rice soaked in water, or muri, puffed rice that's crispy like popcorn. These dishes may sound unfamiliar, but they have been a part of their lives for generations. deeply rooted in memory and tradition. By 2 in the afternoon, when the sun is at its peak, lunch is served with a dish that seems simple but is full of artistry, dal. This is lentils, slowly cooked until tender, infused with spices, releasing a gentle yet captivating aroma. For many families here, dal is not just food, it is tradition, a flavor tied to the meals of their homeland. And dinner? Not at 7, not at 8, but as late as 11 at night. In the quiet of the night, they gather around a simple yet unique meal, usually rice with milk. It may sound strange, but it's part of the slow-paced rhythm that defines South Asian culture, a lifestyle that's unhurried, unrushed. But what truly leaves many tourists wide-eyed is their way of eating. No chopsticks, no spoons, everything is done by hand. Sitting at a Bangladeshi meal, you'll witness people mixing rice with curry using their fingers or tearing off soft chapati to dip into rich sauces. This combination is not just cuisine, it's a sensory experience. You can feel the softness, the warmth, the texture of each dish, something that forks and knives simply can't convey. And if you think the uniqueness of Bangladeshi food ends at how it's eaten, think again. Bangladesh is home to one of the spiciest chilies in the world, the bhut jolokia, with a heat level over 1 million shu. It rivals pepper spray, which ranks at 1.6 million shu. To give you a better picture, a single bhut jolokia can be as powerful as 100,000 bell peppers combined. Just one bite, and your lips will feel like they're on fire, tears will well up, and your heart will beat like a village drum during harvest season. The chili fields in Bangladesh transform into a vast red carpet, glowing under the sun. Each year they produce up to 3,000 tons of red chilies, creating a scene that is not only beautiful but also literally blazing hot. And that's just the beginning of the strange and wonderful stories from this land. There's so much more waiting for you to discover right after this. But before we continue, I need a small favor from you. If you find this content interesting, please take 5 seconds to hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. And in return, we promise to bring you even more fascinating and bizarre stories. The family with no fingerprints. Can you imagine a life without fingerprints? No unlocking your phone, no registering a SIM card, and even no ability to get identification documents. For many, that might seem like a far-fetched hypothesis, but for the Sarkar family in Rajshahi district, northern Bangladesh, it's a reality that has lasted 4 generations. Meet Rafi Sarkar, a man with smooth, marble-like hands, no ridges, no identifying marks. He's not the only one in his family. From his grandfather to his father and even to his later descendants, they all share this strange characteristic. Back in his grandfather's time, life was simpler. No one paid much attention to whether or not they had fingerprints. But when the world entered the digital age, everything changed. In 2008, the Bangladesh government started issuing national ID cards. Rafi's father, Apu Sarkar, was denied, not for legal reasons but because he had no fingerprints to print on the card. The authorities reluctantly issued him a special card with no fingerprint section. By 2010, the situation became even more complicated. To get a passport or a driver's license, fingerprints were mandatory. Rafi paid the fees, passed the driving test, but still could not get his license. The police didn't understand and kept issuing fines for not carrying his license. As for the passport, he could only get it with a medical certificate confirming his special condition. The troubles didn't stop there. In 2016, the government required everyone to provide fingerprints for SIM card management and national data. The result? Rafi and the male members of his family could not buy a mobile SIM card. They had to rely on SIM cards registered under their mother's names. What caused this family to live in a maze of complications for so many years? The answer lies in a rare genetic mutation called dermatoglyphia, a condition so strange it is also known as immigration delay syndrome. First discovered in 2007 through the case of a Swiss woman who was detained at an airport for lacking fingerprints, dermatoglyphia not only erases fingerprints, but also causes the skin on the hands and feet to become dry and sweat-resistant, making it difficult for the body to regulate temperature. Things that seem simple, like playing sports or swimming, also become challenges. The Sarkar family has to rely on air conditioning and ice packs all year round to avoid overheating. So what happens when a digital world cannot recognize people who have no traces? And if you were one of them, how would you cope? The garment industry in Bangladesh. You may have worn a Levi's shirt or a Zara dress, but few realize that their journey began in Bangladesh, a country known as the garment factory of the world. With more than 3,500 factories operating day and night, this nation exports textile and garment products worth about $40 billion annually, directly competing with China. Behind the runway lights and the glamour of fashion, there are people quietly carrying the weight of the entire industry. They work in deteriorating factories under the scorching heat and stifling conditions, often accepting wages that are less than $100 a month. No contracts, no insurance, no guarantees for tomorrow. One of the most heartbreaking tragedies was the collapse of the Rana Plaza building in Savar, Dhaka in 2013. Over 1,100 people lost their lives and thousands were injured. Cold numbers, but behind them are broken families and unfulfilled dreams. Is there a story yet to be told behind the shirt you're wearing? Clothing in Bangladesh. Now let's take a stroll around and see how people in Bangladesh dress. Have you ever seen a lungi? It's a type of cloth wrapped around the waist like a skirt, often worn by men while strolling around the streets, sipping tea on the sidewalk, or even riding a motorcycle. To foreigners, this sight might make you laugh or leave you speechless in surprise. Women are quite different. They wear the traditional sari, covering themselves from head to toe, leaving only their sparkling eyes visible behind a thin veil. Even when going to the beach, the sight of bikinis is extinct here. Women still wear saris when swimming. And if you do see bikinis in stores, don't misunderstand. They are meant to be worn under the sari, ensuring they remain modest and true to Islamic traditions. Did you know, despite the modest average income of workers here, the garment industry accounts for up to 80% of the country's total export revenue? This industry brings billions of dollars to Bangladesh each year, but with it comes the harsh working conditions that not everyone is brave enough to face. Now, try opening your wardrobe. Is there any item with the label "Made in Bangladesh"? Have you ever thought that behind that label lies a completely different world? A place where people wear lungis, swim in saris, and work tirelessly to sew every stitch and seam? Leave a comment below to share your thoughts. Schools on water in Bangladesh. Imagine a place where schools are not just rigid concrete walls but journeys floating on water, weaving between the rivers of Bangladesh. This is the reality for thousands of children here. Every morning, instead of walking on land, they board boats, gliding along the canals to their floating schools. These boats are not just transportation, they are schools, places where children learn, play, and even receive medical care. These floating schools are a brilliant solution to the annual floods in Bangladesh, where up to 1/5 of the land area is submerged. An initiative called Shidulai Swanarvar Sangstha was born, bringing these floating schools to life. Each boat, over 50 feet long and 10 feet wide, transforms into a classroom, library, playground, and even a health station. A solar power system provides electricity for over 100 computers, enabling students to study online and connect with the world, even in the most remote areas. What is even more admirable is the vision of architect Mohammad Rezwan, who turned this idea into reality. More than 1,800 children can now attend school every day, regardless of rain or shine. These boats are not just tools for education but symbols of creativity and human resilience, turning adversity into opportunity. Historical sites in Bangladesh. Bangladesh is not only known for its unique educational initiatives, but its historical and cultural landmarks are also truly awe-inspiring. Take, for example, the Lal Bagh Fort in Dhaka, which was built in the 17th century, featuring a grand mosque with 30 domes, tranquil ponds, and the beautiful tomb of Bibi Pari, the daughter of Shaista Khan. The fort also has Turkish-style baths, reflecting the architectural excellence of that era. Another equally impressive location is Ahsan Manzil, also known as the Pink Palace, located near the Buriganga River. Built in 1872, the Pink Palace stands out with its distinctive colors and grand design, and is now a museum that tells the story of the luxurious lifestyle of the aristocracy. This is an unmissable destination to learn more about the rich heritage of Bangladesh. Bangladesh is truly a country full of unexpected surprises, not only in education, but also in its fascinating historical tales. These things will certainly make you think. Border between Bangladesh and India. You will surely be surprised to learn about the borders between Bangladesh and India. They're not just simple straight lines but rather resemble puzzle pieces scattered and connected in an unbelievable way. It seems like everything was meticulously planned, but in reality, it was quite the opposite. The northern border between these two countries is a complex creation formed over 300 years ago when the Mughal emperors decided to expand their power into Bengal. Today, the result of these decisions is a network of areas of India within Bangladesh and vice versa. They resemble matryoshka dolls, hiding many stories and secrets. This has created a large number of stateless people, unable to access essential social services. However, a historic agreement in June 2015 changed everything. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina jointly decided to exchange 200 enclaves, resolving this complex border issue. A strategic decision that not only changed the fate of around 50,000 people, but also ended their years of hardship. These stateless people now have citizenship, the right to education, healthcare, and social services. Can you imagine how different their lives will be now that they have been granted citizenship? Notably, this agreement is not a new initiative. In fact, it was first proposed in 1974, but was stalled due to complex political events, including the assassination of the founder of Bangladesh in 1975. However, the success of the 2015 agreement not only helped resolve border issues, but also strengthened the relationship between Bangladesh and India. Imagine life in Bangladesh, a country with a population of over 160 million people. In Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh, traffic congestion has become a prominent issue. Not only are the streets crowded with motorcycles and rickshaws, but there is also severe air pollution, which affects the quality of life for millions of people. In particular, Bangladesh is the only country in the world where Bengali is the official language, creating a very distinct cultural identity. And did you know that the national flag of Bangladesh is green, similar to Japan's flag with a red circle in the center? This image symbolizes the nation's lush beauty. Air pollution in Bangladesh, especially in the capital Dhaka, is at an alarmingly high level. According to the World Health Organization, Bangladesh is the most polluted country in the world, with the annual average PM2.5 pollution level reaching 160 micrograms per cubic meter in 2022, which is 15 times the safe limit. Air pollution causes around 15,000 deaths each year and could save between $200 million to $800 million annually if pollution were reduced in the country's 4 major cities. The main factors contributing to pollution include traditional brick kilns that burn coal to produce bricks for the construction industry, vehicles, especially old trucks and buses, and the use of biofuels like wood and cow dung in rural areas. The dust generated by construction projects combined with rapid urbanization further exacerbates the situation. Air pollution severely impacts public health, especially vulnerable groups such as the poor and children. To address this issue, strong action is needed from both the government and the public to reduce pollution to safe levels and protect health and the environment. Before we explore the slums in Bangladesh, take 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We promise to continue bringing you interesting and valuable content. Now let's head to the slums in the heart of the bustling capital city of Bangladesh. And slums in Bangladesh. In the bustling and crowded capital of Dhaka, Bangladesh, slums like Surreal, Kalyanpur, and Bazar stand as a completely different world where poverty, overcrowding, and hardship are everyday realities. The makeshift homes, built with corrugated iron, scrap wood, and plastic, stand close to each other, lacking specific addresses and a proper water supply and drainage system. Life for the people here is incredibly deprived. Many families of 5 to 7 people live crammed together in a room of less than 10 square meters. Children have to grow up in an environment filled with waste, dirty sewage, and constant health risks. The majority of the adults are unskilled laborers, tailors, construction workers, rickshaw pullers, or domestic helpers, earning just enough to get by each day. Despite living under difficult conditions, the people here maintain an optimistic spirit, sharing meals with each other and always striving to improve. Many social and non-governmental organizations have tried to reach out, offering support in education, healthcare, and improving living conditions, but the challenges remain significant. The slums of Dhaka are not just living spaces but also serve as a vivid testament to the growing gap between the rich and the poor in major urban areas. Comfortable travel with low cost in Bangladesh. When you arrive in Bangladesh, you will realize that life here can be incredibly luxurious, yet much easier on the wallet compared to life in the United States, where billionaires live opulently. In Bangladesh, the cost of living is low, allowing you to experience wonderful things at an unimaginable cost in developed countries. This is an ideal destination for those who want to explore a dynamic, diverse, and refreshing country. If you enjoy traveling alone, Bangladesh will offer you countless exciting experiences. The best time to visit is from November to February, when the weather is pleasant and dry. You can visit historical sites in Dhaka, take part in wildlife tours at Sundarbans, or immerse yourself in festivals like Pohela Boishakh. Summer, from March to June, can be very hot and humid, but it is also the perfect time to explore hilly areas like the Chittagong hill tracts, or relax on the beaches of Cox's Bazar. From June to October, the monsoon season turns the entire country into a lush paradise, with the most beautiful spots being in Sylhet and the wetland areas. What's interesting is that tourism in Bangladesh is incredibly affordable. Domestic flights range from $50 to $100, train tickets from $10 to $30 depending on the class, and bus tickets for long journeys are usually under $20. Getting around the city is easy with options like rickshaws, CNG tuk-tuks, or simply using a ride-sharing app. Thank you for taking the time to join us in today's video. If you found it interesting, please leave a like to give us more motivation to create even more exciting content. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any upcoming journeys. Which country would you like to explore next? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you're looking for another interesting video, click on the content showing on the screen. We promise it won't disappoint you. See you again in our next videos.